in the first chapter we have discussed data flow, how data flow, different types of data flow method. Do you remember? Maybe even some of you attempted in the quiz also. What are those three different data flow modes? Depending on the direction of data. So categorized into three. What are those? I am giving the clue depending on the direction. It is categorized into three types. What are those?
Simplex, half duplex, and full duplex. Ma'am.
Yes. So answer is correct. So simplex, half duplex and full duplex. So many of you are getting confused with this question. Okay. Sometimes even you will be having question on explain data flow modes. Okay. So data flow mode is you need to explain simplex, half duplex, okay, and also full duplex. So when it comes to transmission modes, okay, this is in second module. So don't get confused. If you get a question in the second module with respect to transmission modes, you have to write these whatever I'm going to explain now. Okay. So don't get confused. So here depending on how the data is transmitted. So that is with respect to direction what you learned in the first chapter. So this is with respect to how the pattern of data is going to send from sender to the receiver. So here transmission modes indicates the transmission of binary data. Okay, so transmission of binary data across a link can be accomplished either in parallel mode or serial mode. Maybe you have learned the two subjects something related to EC. Okay, how data can be sent. There are two ways. Either the data can be sent parallelly. Okay, set of bits parallelly. All these zeros can be sent parallelly at a time. That is called parallel transmission mode. So if it is like this one by one, so this is called serial mode. Okay, so how the data transmission takes place. So what are the advantage and disadvantage of each of these methods? We'll just go through. Okay, so transmission modes mainly we have two types. One is parallel mode and another one is serial mode. So in parallel mode, multiple bits are sent with each clock tick. Okay, for each clock tick. So all how many I have written? 5. So all 5 bits will be sent at a time. Okay, because you will be having 5 the lines or the wires through which all the 5 bits will be sent at a time. That is in case of parallel mode. So parallelly multiple bits can be sent at each clock time. So in serial mode, one bit is sent with each clock tick. Okay, so one bit. So this is the representation of serial mode. Each clock tick it will just send only one bit. Okay, next clock tick, second bit. Like that, it is going to send the data bit by bit. So that is called a serial mode. So now we have sub classification with respect to serial mode. So parallel mode, it is very straightforward. And with respect to serial, we have a subcategory called synchronous, asynchronous, and isochronous. Okay, we'll discuss these different methods in detail. So first we'll understand. So the type of data transmissions are two types. We'll just discuss the first one and also the second one. Later we'll go to the subcategory. So in the parallel transmission, hope diagram is visible. Okay. So parallel transmission. So parallel means multiple bits are sent at each clock. You can just observe if this is the sender and if this is the receiver device. Okay. So from sender, you can just see how many lines are or wires are there here. So here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. So all the 8 wires are carrying one bit information at a time. Okay. So all the 8 bits is sent at a time to the receiver. Okay, is it clear? So what is the requirement here? It requires for parallel transmission, it requires a number of wires. If you want to send n bits, so it requires n wires connected. Okay, so in that each wire you can just observe. So clearly it is given in the diagram. So each wire is carrying 1 bit information. Okay, each wire is carrying 1 bit information, and all these bits sent parallelly at a time, simultaneously. Okay, so all these 8 bits are sent to the receiver simultaneously at once. So that is about the parallel transmission. So what are the advantage here? So advantage is in terms of speed. Okay, so at the same time parallelly when you are sending the data, so more number of, or the data rate can be improved. The time taken for transmission of data can be, it can be improved, or it can be like high compared to the serial transmission. Okay, so parallel transmission can increase the transfer speed by factor of n over the serial transmission. If you are comparing with the serial, okay, in case of serial only 1 bit at a time, but here it is going to be a factor of n. Okay, so it is going to increase the speed of the transmission. What is the disadvantage? So even though we have advantage, we have disadvantage also. The cost involved, okay, the cost involved for parallel transmission is very high compared to serial transmission. So the parallel transmission requires n communication lines. Okay, so you can just see so many communication lines requires to send the data parallelly. Okay, so getting more number of wires or the lines, it is going to be expensive, even though we have a benefit of high speed transmission, but this is a limitation. And also here one more important thing is, normally the parallel transmission is limited to a short distance. Okay, so whatever the technique they have used here to transmit the data in parallel transmission, it is used only for a short distance. Okay, the devices are connected only for short distance. If it is long distance, this is not preferred because the cost is very high. Okay, so this is about the parallel transmission. So next we'll move on to serial transmission. Okay, so what is this serial transmission tells? So serial transmission, the name itself tells serial. Serial means one by one. One bit follows the another. Okay, so we need only one communication channel, then n to transmit data between two communicating devices. Okay, so you don't need n transmission lines here. If it is only one line, you can send the data. Okay, you can just observe this is the sender device, and you can just observe the data is within the system. This blue color line indicates the data is within the system. I'll tell you why it is represented like this. And this is the receiver side, and these two devices are connected with a single line. Okay, whenever data transmission takes place, only one bit it is going to transmit at a time. Okay, to the line only one bit is sent. After that, next bit, like that. Okay, but here one thing you need to observe. So even though the line used to connect these two devices are serial, but within the system the data is transmitting parallel. Okay, so here we need some device. Okay, so we need some device at the sender side to convert this parallel transmission to serial. Okay, in the system we are getting the data 8 bits of data at a time. Okay, so now I cannot send all the 8 bit at a time, so we need some device here to take care of converting this parallel transmission to serial transmission. The same thing it is going to happen at the receiver side. Okay, whatever the data that is coming, it is in the serial manner. It cannot send or receive the data only one bit at a time. Okay, so it is going to take a lot of time for that. For that reason they will use the serial to parallel converter at the receiver side. Okay, so the serial mode is converted into parallel. Then this parallel data, after receiving 8 bits or 1 byte of data, then it will be delivered to the receiver. Okay, this is within the system. Within the system the data is transmitted parallelly, but this is when it is connected outside devices, the external link, it is working serial. Okay, so what is the advantage here, advantage and disadvantage of this serial mode? The cost. Okay, serial transmission reduces the cost of transmission over parallel by factor of n. Okay, obviously the number of lines you can just observe, you need only one link or one wire to transmit the data. Okay, so in that case the cost involved can be reduced. Okay, it is cost effective. Then what are the disadvantage? So the disadvantage I told you, so the converters, it requires the converters at the both the side. So because within the device the data is transmitted parallelly. Okay, so because of that, when it is transmitting to the external link, it requires the converter to convert the parallel data into serial data. At the receiver side, the serial data should be converted back into parallel. Okay, so these, the cost of this converter, it is going to be adding the disadvantage or the limitation. Okay, is it clear what is serial mode and parallel mode? So we are just discussing at abstract level, not in depth, just according to this diagram I am explaining. So if you have any doubts you can ask, otherwise I'll proceed to the next methods. Okay, so serial mode, in the first diagram itself I have shown, it is categorized into three types. Okay, synchronous, asynchronous and isochronous. Any doubts as of now? So shall I leave the class to allow you people for taking the quiz, or shall I continue? You will manage later. Yes, I want the response who will not taken the quiz. Will you people need time for taking the quiz? Shall I stop the class or shall I continue? Later you will take it. But till 11 o'clock it will be enabled. 11 or 11:30, you just check it. Yes, respond. Ashish, what do you want to do? I don't know. Nowadays you people are not responding only about the serial method. Okay, serial transmission. That means it is going to send one bit at a time. So now to achieve the asynchronous transmission, we need to make a group of bits. Okay, so grouping the bit stream into bytes. So each time one byte of information, that is 8 bit of information, is sent. Okay, and that should be received at the receiver side. The sender, it is not receiving, or all the 8 bits are not sent at the same time, but parallel serially it will be sending one byte of information. The sender transmits each group to the link without regard to a timer. Okay, so the sender is not going to worry about the timing information about this transmission of data. Okay, instead of that, so here they are using the technique called, so some pattern mechanism is used to indicate when the byte is starting and when the byte is ending. So the receiver can receive the information without regard to a timer. So by using that pattern, still the receiver will be able to receive the information without the timings. Okay, timing information is not given importance here. So how it is done? So what type of pattern they can use? So here we can send 1 to start bit. Okay, to start bit 0 at the beginning of each byte. Okay, and 1 to stop. Okay, bit 1 to end of each byte. Okay, that means you are just embedding 2 bit information. So 0 is embedded at the beginning of the byte. Okay, followed by 8 bits of information. Then you are adding bit 1 to indicate the end of this particular byte information. Okay, and in between you will be having the data, so that will be sent to the receiver. So receiver will be knowing that the receiver should discard the first bit and last bit. So the receiver should extract only the remaining 8 bits. Okay, so this is one technique that is used for data transmission. Okay, so starter bit alerts the receiver to arrival of new group of data. Okay, so I think we have a diagram here. You can just observe the complete data, whatever it is their stream of data, it is grouped into a byte. Okay, so each byte, this is a byte. So each byte we need to add the starting bit 0 to indicate this is the beginning of new byte, and also after 8 bits, so you need to add bit 1. So that indicates, see, these are all not done by the human being. So there will be a protocols. Those protocol will take care of all these things. Okay, the human cannot interact at the bit level. Okay, so the stop bit one indicates the stop bit. Okay, once it received at the receiver, so once the receiver receives 0, okay, he'll come to know that this is the beginning of the byte, followed by he'll accept all the 8 bits. Okay, one when 1 is received at the last after 8 bits, so it indicates the end of the that particular byte information. Similarly, it is followed for the remaining bit. Okay, so here normally this pattern is applied with respect to byte information. Okay, so for one byte you are going to apply this pattern. So what is the pattern? So 0 is added at the beginning of the byte to indicate the new byte is arrival, and 1 is added at the end of the byte to indicate that is the end of the byte information. Okay, so this is how the asynchronous transmission works, and this is a diagram you need to write. And also after every byte information after receiving, there will be some time unit gap, because it will, the here even sender also, they will take some amount of time to add these bits, okay, 0 and 1, and to extract the exact information from that byte. Okay, the receiver will also take some amount of time. That is called as processing time. So what is the disadvantage here? So obviously it is going to be disadvantage. Okay. So we'll come to know after discussing why it is disadvantage. So one thing is the processing time. Adding those 2 bits after every 8 bits, and extracting the exact data by removing those extra 2 bits. So definitely it will take some amount of time. Okay. So due to that, the speed of receiving and sending going to be slow. So then how it works in case of synchronous? So in synchronous, there is no technique of adding any extra bits. So here we need to send bit one after the another without start and stop bits. Okay, so here there is no bit mechanism or the pattern to be followed. So just one bit at a time it is transmitted and it is received at the receiver. And receiver is responsible for grouping the bits. Okay, so the receiver side, whatever the data it is coming, so that is the responsibility of the receiver, should group the bits, okay, in terms of bytes. So in terms of bytes or in terms of frame. So here the data is sent in the form of frame. Okay, it is once again a sequence of bits. It is once again a sequence or series of bits. So bit stream is combined into a longer frame which may contain multiple bytes. Okay, sequence of bits. So if it may be containing more than 1 byte information. Okay, so that you are going to group to form a frame, and each of this frame is sent at a time. You can just observe. So this is a frame containing set of bytes. Okay, and the bit is transmitted one by one. So here you are not adding any extra bits. So here the transmission takes place according to the timing information, clock information. Okay, so this is for just sending a small amount of data. In case if the sender want to send a burst of data, okay, that means large data. So in such cases, so whatever the gap it is filled, here you can just see the between the frame, whatever the gap time interval it is there, so that you can just add with a special sequence of zeros and one. Okay, so here after this you can add this time interval sending zeros, so it indicates that is the ending of the frame, or during that time the transmission of the data is idle. So like that you can specify by adding a sequence of zeros and ones. So this type of technique it is used in synchronous transmission. So here, what are the advantages? So in terms of speed, if you compare to asynchronous, so it is faster. Okay, so because you are not following any pattern or adding extra information to this stream of data. Okay, so definitely it will take a less time to transmit. Okay, you just imagine for each byte adding zeros and ones, extracting the data by removing those extra bits. Definitely it will take lot of time to process this data. Okay, both at the sender side and receiver side. Okay, and this what is synchronous transmission is useful for high speed application, and also when you want to send a burst of data, okay, large amount of data, some huge file. So in such cases this synchronous transmission mode can be used. So now along with these synchronous and asynchronous, we have one more variation called synchronous, that is isochronous. Okay, so isochronous it is not much used. So synchronization between character is not enough. Okay, so character means whatever we are doing. See, synchronization means first you need to understand what is the meaning, why we are doing all this process. Okay, why we are adding zeros and all. What is the purpose? What is the purpose of adding these zeros? You need to think, no? Why we are adding, sending one byte information at a time with these extra bits or following this pattern. So that is to achieve the synchronization. Okay, so the synchronization between the sender and receiver. So many times we have used that. Okay, so if sender is very working at high speed, okay, the sender is sending at faster rate, the data is sending. But if the receiver is very slow in receiving and processing, whatever the data that is coming from the fast sender, there may be possibility loss of data. Okay, there may be possibility of loss of data. So in case if the buffer is full or the queue is full, whatever the next data that comes, it will be lost. Okay, so for that reason, always there should be a synchronization between sender and receiver. So how it can be achieved? So these are some techniques that can be used to achieve the synchronization. Okay, so indicating the receiver that when the next byte is going to start, when it is ending. Okay, so in that way, so they are going to follow the timing information. Okay, with this pattern. Maybe you just recall when we discussed about the line coding. Okay, the synchronization is one of the characteristics. So if there is no synchronization, we have discussed what is the problem occurs. Okay, what is the problem occurs if I am sending 010. Okay, if the receiver is fast, clock is faster rate. Okay, so in such cases the data may be received something different. Why it is so? Because the clock interval, okay, whatever the clock interval used by the receiver and the sender may be not the same. Okay, so this is maybe the clock interval for the sender. Maybe if the receiver is faster, then the interval may be for this duration. So like that, there are a lot of issues with respect to synchronization. You need to understand that is a common term used. Okay, what is a synchronization? See, there are so many technical terms normally we are using. So you need to aware of those terms. Okay, at least know the definitions. What exactly the meaning, reliability, performance. These are all the common terms used in the network. Okay. So asynchronous, no timing information. In case of synchronous, we'll be using the timing information, but no any pattern is followed. So isochronous. Okay, so what we have done in the previous two methods, so we have used some technique to identify the when the next byte or when the next frame is going to start. Every frame there is some gap, that means there will be some idle time. Okay, So in this way, you can achieve the synchronization. So you are just achieving the synchronization in terms of character. So that is not enough. It requires to achieve the synchronization in terms of large stream of bits. So how it is done? So isochronous transmission guarantees that data arrive at a fixed rate. Okay. So that is one technique used. Fixed rate means every 5 seconds. Okay, the sender is going to send some data. Okay, the 5 second it is not the real time. Okay, I'm just taking. So every 5 second, or you can just go with a millisecond. Every 5 millisecond, the sender is sending 1 byte of information. Okay, so it should be same for the next byte of information. Next after 5 millisecond, next byte is going to arrive. So like this, you need to use the a fixed time interval. Okay, so that is used in. So when exactly we need to use this isochronosis? So it is normally when you are transmitting the audio video. Okay, so when you are watching any of the video, so most of the time you have observed that there is no syncing between the lip movement and whatever the audio you are going to you are listening. Okay, there will be mismatch. So that is happened due to this delay. Okay, so maybe some packets is arriving at 5 millisecond, next packets are arriving after 25 millisecond. So like this, there is a difference in the arrival packet. So that we have already discussed, it is called as jitter. Okay, so jitter is not acceptable. It leads to not good quality of the information is received. Okay, it is mainly applicable for audio and video. If it is text, even if there is some delay, but still it is acceptable. For example, you can just observe TV images are broadcasted at a rate of 30 images per second. That means, see, video means what? Did you observe? Maybe even in your mobile phone, video means it is nothing but a series of frames or images. Okay, so when you just check in your mobile phone video, just scroll forward or backward, you will be able to see a series of images. Okay, so now in case of if it is a TV broadcast, so 30 images sent per second. Okay, 30 images per second. But sometimes what happens, audio may be sent every 25 or 20 seconds. So in such cases, there will be some mismatch. It is going to happen. So if the first set of images, if it is coming at every 30 millisecond or 30 second, so next 30 second you should get 30 images per second. Okay, there should not be any changes in that. First time 30 images per second, next time it should not be reduced to 20 images per second. In such cases, the quality of the video is going down. You may not get the exact match of audio and video. Okay, so that is the problem of jitter. So in the first chapter also I explained about this jitter, and also the second module. Not second module, the first module, last chapter, third chapter. So jitter should not be there. So what is jitter? So that is variation in the arrival of packet, variation in the time arrival of packets. So the packets are coming at different time interval. So that is called as jitter. Okay, so this is all about the transmission modes. Okay, isochronous, we are not just using any important concept. The main concept in asynchronous is, so the data should arrive at a fixed rate. Okay, if you are keeping for every 30 seconds, this much of data should be sent and received, then it has to happen. Okay, so there should not be any variation in the arrival of packets. So the technique is used in isochronous. So this is very important, transmission modes. You may get question on this also. Okay, explain different types of transmission modes. With an explanation, you have to give all the 5 methods. First, explain serial, parallel. One or two advantages and disadvantages you need to specify, and diagrams are very important. Practice the diagrams. There are so many diagrams in all the chapters, but those diagrams are not complex. Okay, very easy to remember also. Only thing is you need to practice. You need to go through each of the topic and should know what exactly that image or the diagram tells. Okay, very simple diagrams. If you are understanding, you can remember the images and also the explanation. So any queries with respect to this? So yesterday we discussed about the PCM and also data transmission. So any queries regarding this? So day by day attendance is reducing. So just I want everyone to answer your attendance. I'll be just calling your name. Okay. So later I will continue with the revision of the first module. And also I asked, are you people are ready for quiz? Nobody responded. Okay. So you just answer to my question. Bindu Shri.
Present, ma'am.
Bindu Shri present. Abhishek. You have to unmute. Abhishek. Abhishek. See, if you are not answering, I will, if you are there and if you are not answering, I will mark it as an absent.
His mute isn't my.
What?
Abhishek's mic
Hello?
isn't working like this.
No, he is speaking. Abhishek?
Hello?
Is it audible?
Yes, ma'am.
I was calling your name, answer attendance.
Yes, present, ma'am.
Akshata? Akshata?